A war of words in Parliament as the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman defended the budget, taking on opposition accusations that only two states, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, gained benefits. Also, Rahul Gandhi has accused Anurag Thakur, the BJP leader, of insulting him in a war of words around the caste census. There's also been fierce debate around the controversial Agnipath scheme.
We saw double-digit high inflation period during the UPA era, and that is because of their reckless policies. I want to differentiate between the inflation which prevailed during UPA and the inflation, if at all, within the range which prevails now, some months which have gone up. There is a difference. Domestic inflation used to be higher than the global average during UPA's time. Global financial crisis 2008, sir. If you are talking about COVID, which is much more complex than the global financial crisis, Congress आई, महंगाई लाई, ये है इनका record.
Also a fierce exchange of words between Rahul Gandhi and Anurag Thakur. The Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav was also involved. Different contexts, different themes. Let's take a look.
सर ओबीसी की बात जनगणना की बात बहुत की जाती है। माननीय सभापति जी जिसकी जात का पता नहीं वो गणना की बात करता है। जिसकी जात का पता नहीं गणना की बात करता है।
माइक यहां से नहीं जाती का सर, मैं नाम जो भी माइक आ जाएगा। स्पीकर सर, जो भी इस देश में दलितों की, आदिवासियों की, पिछड़ों की बात उठाता है, जो भी उनके लिए लड़ता है, उसको गाली खाना ही पड़ता है। और मैं ये सब गालियां खुशी से खाऊंगा।
माननीय मंत्री रहे हैं, बड़े दल के नेता हैं, मंत्री रहे हैं, बड़ी बात कर रहे थे। मैं महाभारत, शकुनी, ये सब बातें कह रहे थे, दुर्योधन तक यहाँ ले आई है। वे केवल सभापति महोदय, इनसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने जाति कैसे पूछ ली, ये बताइए बस। आप जाति कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? आप बताएं, जाति कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? आप पूछ के दिखाओ जाति को। जाति कैसे पूछोगे तुम? कैसे पूछोगे जाति?
आप
नहीं, जाति नहीं पूछ सकते।
आपने कह दिया ना, अब आप हमारी
जाति नहीं पूछ सकते।
All right, so a lot of anger over there in Parliament. Joining us now, Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress and Tuhin Sinha of the BJP. Adil, let me come to you first. As far as the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was concerned, the opposition, or certainly the Congress, made the point that when it comes to the union budget, there were two states, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, which seemed to have benefited. But her response is that in a union budget, you cannot possibly name all the states which are benefiting. She went on to add, in 2009, 26 states were not named, right? So is the point being, is the opposition being unfair in targeting states which may or may not have benefited in the budget?
Well, Vishnu, at the outset, I think the government of India has miserably failed in providing this country with an economic framework which benefits all. The budget is yet another reminder how there is cartelization and monopolization of resources in the hands of the few. This is my preliminary. Now, responding to your question, the budget is a reflection and a manifestation of BJP's political compulsions. Because the formation of this government and the continuation of this government is dependent on the JDU and Mr. Chandrababu Naidu's party. Point number 2. Point number 3, there are equally affected states which require government succor. In the case of Karnataka, in the case of Himachal, there are other states like West Bengal. There are states, opposition ruled states, which require the government of India to consider an equitable budget. Please understand. I'll give you an example of Telangana. The government of Telangana, in their contribution to the union government, is 1 rupee. They only receive back 43 paisa. Is that fair? Shouldn't the budget be reflective of the federal mindset of this country?
All right.
So therefore, when you use the budget as a strategic tool to mobilize political support, then you are being dishonest with your duty. Point number 3. Point number 4.
Adil, stick to those 3 points because I want to get a response. We've got more time ahead of us. Tuhin, would you like to respond to those? The essential point saying that it's a federal structure, the money needs to go to states that need it, not just the ones being picked by the government.
Well, good evening, Vishnu. Good evening, everybody. I've gone through the data of the last 20 years, both in terms of fiscal transfers as well as capital expenditures released to the different states. Now, if you compare the figures between 2004 and 2014, whether it is an opposition ruled state or a BJP ruled state, I can specifically tell you that Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, which are not BJP ruled states, have got nearly double in terms of fiscal transfers between 2014 and 24 vis-a-vis 2004 and 14. Similarly, in terms of capital expenditure, the figure is almost double. Congress has a habit of playing the victim, of being the crybaby without any facts. I am challenging the Congress party today. Let them name just one instance when the states of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh were mentioned in the union budget between 2004 and 14. Not mentioning, as Nirmala ji rightly explained today, does not mean that the funds are not being released. If they have specific grouses, they can take it up with the Finance Commission. Because Finance Commission itself has been authorized with certain, there are rules and regulations. There are strictures based upon the population. There are strictures based upon the education levels of that state. And, all of these things can be taken up by the Finance Commission.
All right, Tuhin, I get the point that you're mentioning. Adil, another point which the opposition has spoken.
Blame that is a habit of the Congress party.
All right, one sec, Tuhin, half a sec. Let's bring Adil in over here. Adil, my question to you is this. The opposition and the Congress have said that farmer welfare is not looked after, agriculture welfare is not looked after. But if the point that, and I was going through some data, is that in 2013, 2014, right, the allotment, this is what the government actually said in Parliament, the allotment was 21,934 crores when you were in power, right? However, in 2024, 2025, it increased to 1.23 lakh crores. And there are other examples as well. Again, the argument is that the opposition is being disingenuous in raising these points if you look at the statistics.
Well, Vishnu, on the contrary, I think the manner in which the BJP is assessing this issue, they're comparing apples with oranges. When you compare the agricultural outlay in the year 2010, you have to see that in commensurate to the prices of raw materials and other inputs in 2010. When you compare the agricultural outlay in 2024, you have to compare that in commensurate to the prices of raw materials and equipment in 2024. Point number one. Point number two, it was Mr. Modi who had promised to double farmers' income in 2016. On the contrary, what you have is doubling of agricultural debt. You have this government labeling farmers as anti-nationals. You have this government using batons and lathi charge on farmers. So therefore, less said the better about the stepmotherly treatment of the BJP when it comes to farmers. Number three, something which is very critical, especially at a time when paper leaks have become all pervasive. During the UPA government, now this is what you need to see. The financial budgetary outlay for the education department was 4.5% of the budget. Today, that has been reduced to 2.5%. So therefore, what you have to see is the data in commensurate to the budget, not in absolute terms. Because the data increases, the prices of raw materials, the prices of...
All right, I get that point. Tuhin, respond. You can't compare data from 2014 to data today because of different input costs and other costs.
Fair enough. You compare today's data, 11 lakh crore capital expenditure, 6.22 lakh, defense expenditure, 6.22 lakh crore defense expenditure, 2.1 lakh crore for skilling and employment, 10,000 crores for Northeast. So I think, these are things the Congress has not been in power for the last 10 years. So it has lost the habit, the ability to think from a national point of view. When we make a defense budget of 6.22 lakh crore, which are the two biggest beneficiaries in terms of companies? HAL and BEL, both of them operate out of Karnataka. Do we, by any stretch of imagination, would we claim that we are doing a favor to Karnataka? No. Because, when you increase defense expenditure, when you increase capital expenditure, you are working for the future of the country. Unfortunately, this Congress cannot grow out of binaries. It can't grow out of, my state versus your state. And unfortunately, it has lost the ability to see the larger picture.
Adil?
Can I respond? Vishu, now, this is when you play ducks and drakes with the people of this country. There is the state of Himachal Pradesh, which is a hill state. Similarly, there are states in the northeast which are also hill states where special incentives have to be given. Why is it that Himachal is being left out? Point number one. There are opposition MPs from Kerala who have lamented that the government of India is not devoting adequate funds for infrastructure development. So therefore, much has to be said about the BJP stepmotherly treatment. Now, since my friend Mr. Sinha is discussing data, let me just share some data. And these are statistics in public domain. In 2017, the price of rice was 28 rupees per kg. Today it is 44. The price of sugar was 24. Today it's 44. The price of milk was 32 rupees per litre. Today it's 59. The price of wheat was 20 rupees per kg. Today it's 31. The price of soya oil was 95. Today it's 123. The price of salt was 16. Today it's 22. So see the meteoric rise. Today the Aam Aadmi Party is the Aam Aadmi is burdened. He is reeling under inflation, lack of jobs, and a misdirected government which is only doling out favors to a handful of corporates. Look at the budgetary outlay for education. I'm re-emphasizing it. Today you talk about the youth bulge, you talk about demographic dividend. You slash the budget by 2 percentage points. During UPA 2, it was 4.77. Today it's 2.5% of the GDP. Number 4, look at the BJP's disingenuity when it comes to the army. They said that they have provided compensation of 1 crore rupees to the Agniveer, to a Shaheed Agniveer. But the reality is that is insurance, that is not compensation. Look how they fudge data. Look how they mislead the people.
No, but Adil, on that last point, any soldier, whether he or she is an Agniveer or not, is entitled to more than 1 crore. The government has provided bank receipts to show that that is being transferred. Now, you are saying that compensation is not the same as insurance.
You know,
but Adil, respectfully, if something happens to you or me or to one of our loved ones, what do we rely on? On an insurance policy. Now, in this case, this is an insurance policy which is underwritten by the government. The financial benefits of that go to next of kin. That has always been the case. The amount has actually gone up.
I follow your explanation, but please consider this for a moment. They are conflating compensation with insurance. Then they must be very clear. This is insurance, this is not compensation. Our grievance is that you are under-preparing the youth, sending them towards on the borders, on the frontiers, and when they sacrifice their lives for the country, what is it that the government of India is doing in return for their families? So please do not label this as compensation. But coming to the issue today, which is the budgetary outlay.
But let Tuhil respond.
Where is the vision for jobs?
All right, okay.
Where is the vision for jobs?
Adil, hang on. Now, you've raised lots of points. You've raised lots of points. It's only fair that Tuhin comes in. Tuhin, apart from the army stuff, what are the key points that would you like to respond? Yes.
No, Vishnu, I'm glad that, you put things in perspective, because the Congress has been spreading a lot of canards, wild canards when it comes to the army. And especially, Rahul Gandhi has crossed all limits. I will remind you of a particular video from 12th May, where he has gone to the extent of saying that, Agniveer जो हैं, जो छोटे दलित community से होंगे, वो Agniveer बनेंगे और जो ऊंची जाति के होंगे, वो अफसर बनेंगे. After that, he was pulled up by the Election Commission also. So to stoke this kind of a caste divide among, our armed forces, besides, of course, he lied ad nauseum on the issue of insurance, which Ajay Singh's father had clearly mentioned that he had received by obfuscating and saying that and kind of highlighting the difference between compensation and insurance. Fact is that a certain amount had to be paid, which was paid promptly by the government. So I think at least on the issue of army, the Congress should apologize to the nation for repeatedly spreading canards and falsehood. Now, today something else, something more important happened in the parliament. Since, we have seen Rahul Gandhi throughout his Bharat Jodo Yatra pulling up scribes and asking about their caste. I'm sure you would also recall that as recently as in February in Uttar Pradesh, he had pulled up a scribe and asked him for his caste. And then, he kind of talked down that scribe and said, just because of your caste, you are not the malik of your newspaper. So shouldn't it be incumbent upon Rahul Gandhi to at least disclose his caste? Or is he doing all this merely to mislead the people of the country?
I need to respond to this. This is hitting below the belt, but let me respond to it. Mr. Sinha, you want to know Mr. Rahul Gandhi?
Why is it hitting below the belt?
Hear me out. Now, hold your horses. Don't get impatient. You want to know Mr. Rahul Gandhi's caste? Mr. Rahul Gandhi comes from a family of Shaheeds. His grandmother shed her blood, shed her life for the unity and integrity of this country. His father was blown into smithereens. I know you don't have an iota of shame, but his father was blown into smithereens for the unity and integrity of this country. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Please hear me out. I did not interrupt.
Tuhin hasn't interrupted. Let him make his point. I'll come to you after that.
Family of a Shaheed. You have insulted a family of a Shaheed.
When Stalin felicitated the assassin of Rajiv Gandhi, did your leader have the basic courage to condemn that? So stop giving this gyan to the country.
Tuhin, half a second. Tuhin, 1 second. We aren't fighting or shouting. Tuhin, 1 second. Tuhin, we can't hear either of you. Just wait, Tuhin. Adil, go ahead. 1 second. Adil, go ahead. Tuhin, I'll come back to you.
If he uses words like shameless, he will get it back in the
Please
same point.
understand, Mr. Gandhi comes from a family of Shaheeds. A family which has laid down its blood and its life for the unity and integrity of this country. So have some shame when you ask such an individual, what is his caste? Please understand this. Don't insult a Shaheed.
Can I respond now?
Yeah.
Do not insult a Shaheed family. You people are pseudo-nationalists.
All right, Adil, 1 second. Let's not get personal. Hold on. Let's stick to this theme. Tuhin has a response. Go ahead.
Vishnu, first of all, I condemn the, repeated usage of words like shameless, because these shameless people, they don't have any basic courage.
All right, so let's not use those words, neither the BJP nor the Congress.
I didn't.
Right. So let's both forget about
Vishnu,
that and let's stick to parliamentary language on this program.
I'm telling you a fact. In May 2022, Stalin felicitated the assassin of Rajiv Gandhi. Did this man, Rahul Gandhi, who, my friend is calling, coming from family of Shaheed, even have the basic courage to condemn that? Did he condemn that or no? If he did not
his father shed his blood
condemn
to the
that,
country.
he has no right to call himself coming from a family of Shaheed. These are the people, Channi, last week Channi.
All right, okay, people, we're going to wrap this up over here because both of you are getting very, very angry now. Peace, ladies and gentlemen, both of you. It's 9:35 in the evening. There'll be plenty more to see in Parliament and see where this goes.